And welcome back to Monday Night Politics. And tonight, in this particular segment, we have the candidates for district judge in the 204th District Court. And we have with us the incumbent, Judge Tammy Kemp, and the challenger, Ms. Bree West. So thank you. We'll go in alphabetical order. 2 minutes for opening statements. Judge Kemp, you're next.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all very much for having me. I'm excited to say this is my third time here for Monday Night Politics. Each experience has been unique and dynamic, and I'm surprised and welcome to see how you are greeting us this evening. Thank you all to the creators of this format. I want to tell you that my name is Tammy Kemp. I currently serve as the judge of the 204th Judicial District Court. In 2014, when I was campaigning, I made promises to you. I told you that I would be accountable to the public. I've been that. I told you that I would be compassionate towards victims. I've been that. I told you that I would be fair to the accused. I've been that. I would like to continue serving as your judge in the 204th Judicial District Court. And let me tell you about some of the things that I've done during my time in this court. When I took over this court, it was dead last in efficiency and money spent in bringing cases to trial. The incumbent who sat on this seat was the most reverse judge in the county at that time, handling felony criminal courts. I took that court from the bottom to the top. We have consistently ranked among the most efficient, the most accountable, and having the most disposition of cases. That's been my joy and my pleasure to do that during these past 7 years. I've also served as the presiding judge over the felony courts. This is my second term, and I currently serve as the presiding judge of the felony domestic violence court. I've kept my promises to you. I've been efficient, I've been economical, and most importantly, I've been professional, knowledgeable, and I have yet to be reversed in any of the criminal trials that we've had, be they in front of a jury or in front of a judge. I pride myself on knowing the law, being prepared, and being ready to serve. Please continue to keep me as the judge of the 204th. Thank you.
Ms. West, opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Bree West, and I'm running for the 204th Judicial District Court in Dallas County, Texas. Thanks so much for listening and tuning in. I've been both a prosecutor and defense attorney for more than 10 years in Dallas County, primarily serving indigent defendants. That means people that can't go into the free market and hire their own attorney. I represent clients currently in my defense practice in state, federal, and federal appellate court. These experiences have made it so that I have a very unique perspective as it relates to our criminal justice system and the ways in which our criminal justice system is broken from the inside. What I intend to do for Dallas County is to bring balance back to the bench, to ensure that we have competence, fairness, and integrity in the judge that's sitting on the bench in the 204th Judicial District Court. Somebody that understands the importance of the issues that we're facing, the issues related to bail and bond reform, the issues related to people that are suffering with mental health issues and substance abuse issues, the ability for those people to have access to the courts that they're eligible for that will help them be successful and reintegrate into our communities in a safe way for them and for everybody else. I understand the need to ensure that we expand our ability to provide those types of services. It makes our community better for everyone. What I intend to do when elected to be the next judge of the 204th Judicial District Court is to make sure that each person that comes before me, whether you are a lawyer, a citizen accused, or a victim, that you have the ability, the time, and the access to be able to be heard, to have your questions answered, and to have the access to the court that you deserve. It does not matter what you've been accused of as a citizen, and it doesn't matter what you have experienced as a victim. You deserve to be able to walk into the 204th and have a judge that'll listen. Thank you so much. I look forward to your vote.
And stay there for the next question, Ms. West. Let's expand on that. You mentioned some things that you'd like to do differently than are currently being done. Can you kind of expand on that?
Sure. Thank you so much for the question. Currently in the 204th Judicial District Court, we need to have a judge that is accessible and that is fair, balanced, and competent. What we need to ensure is that that person has experience on both sides, because having experience on both sides helps you understand what your role is. But if you've only had experience on one side, then I think that we can all understand that you, despite how fair you may think you're being, are going to be biased towards one side or the other. What I bring to the bench is the assurity that I understand what it means for a prosecutor to do a really good job, to seek justice in the way that a prosecutor should seek justice for the state of Texas. But I also very much understand the incredible disadvantage that exists for a citizen that is accused of a criminal offense, the lack of access to resources that helps them defend their positions. You have to have somebody that's sitting on the bench that understands both sides of that. So one of the most important things that I would do is bring that with me on day one. Additionally, I understand that we have a tremendous lack of access to resources as it relates to people that are suffering with mental health conditions, people that are suffering with substance abuse. It is not something that we need to punish as it relates to being in prison. It's something that we need to treat as best as we can. There are many, many specialty programs that exist in Dallas County for people that suffer with those types of issues. But there's not enough room. There's not enough funding. So one of the big things that I intend to do is to not just leave things where they are and say, well, this is how they've been done and this is what we do. No, we've got to expand those programs. We have to advocate for the funding to ensure that we can expand those programs for the people that are eligible so that they can have access and room to have their cases addressed in a way that addresses the things that they're experiencing. So that's another thing that I intend to do on day one as I walk into the 204th Judicial District Court.
Judge Kemp, that's your court, right? so tell us about the functioning of your court, how it is delivering for the citizens that come before you.
Thank you. I do preside over the 204th Judicial District Court, and I am well familiar with both sides of the bench. I'm familiar with being a prosecutor. I served as a prosecutor here in Dallas County under Judge Vance, under Bill Hill, and under Craig Watkins. I tried every manner of case from the lowest misdemeanor to the highest capital murder cases, including, I'm sorry to say, a death penalty case. Not sorry that I prosecuted it, but sorry that it had to be done. I also have worked as a defense attorney for approximately 7 years. I know both sides of the aisle. And more than that, I have members of my family, friends, and community members who have been involved in the criminal justice system. I have served fairly, equitably, justly, and compassionately as the judge of the 204th. We have designed programs during this pandemic to ensure that those persons that don't have to be in jail are not in jail. When the pandemic hit in March of 2020, as the presiding judge, I came to my fellow judges and said, let's cease jury trials. It's going to create a hardship on some persons, but we can't risk the lives of the citizens. Let's open our jails to all the nonviolent offenders, even those that are awaiting drug treatment. I would rather they be safe in their homes than to contract COVID and possibly die. No one knows who COVID is going to impact. In my court, every person that is in jail has a weekly docket setting. I ensure that the prosecution is gathering discovery and providing it to the defense. I ensure that the defense attorneys are communicating the offers, the issues, and the things that need to be investigated. I ensure that investigators are appointed. I ensure that mental health evaluations are done. I ensure that psych evaluations are done, so that not only do we want to keep the community safe, we want to provide safety and the exercise of every constitutional right and privilege that an accused person has. We've been fair, we've been equitable, we've been just, and we've done it with compassion. Thank you.
Very good. So stay here for this final question and roll it into, if you don't mind, roll it into your closing statements. We've asked other candidates in judicial races to weigh in, just at least give it, it's not an opinion, but weigh in on the legislature's seeming animosity toward the presence of black female judges in recent election seasons. So that has been a concern, and it almost went into real legislation this past legislative session. And so kind of address that and roll that into your closing statement.
Okay. It is no secret that the vast majority of persons that I deal with in the criminal justice court, my felony court, are persons of color. It is no secret that all parties that enter into my courtroom feel some sense of relief and fairness, and if not anything else but a cultural understanding that I can understand and appreciate their circumstance. You know, no one had anything to say when all 33 judges in Dallas County happened to be Caucasian. No one saw any need to alleviate that system. But when we became experienced, when we became acknowledgeable, when we became professional, when we sought to make change, when we exercised our right to vote, then suddenly they want to change the game. It's the very reason why this democracy sits on the precipice of destruction. We don't seek to mistreat anyone. As an African American female, I resent the fact that someone thinks because of the color of my skin, I cannot mete out justice fairly. I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of this United States and the great state of Texas, and to enforce all the laws and statutes fairly, equitably, and justly. I've done that. And to seek to have me to remove because I am holding up the morals, the convictions, and the hope of this country is inherently wrong, and we will continue to fight and to vote and to deny that. I am more than qualified to serve in this position. I have not been reversed on any case that I presided over. And that's not because I'm black. It's because I'm professional, knowledgeable, experienced, and I cut my teeth in the criminal court system. And I resent that for all of my people. Thurgood Marshall said, a black snake and a white snake are the same. They are a snake. A good judge, be they black, white, Hispanic, Asian, is a good judge. We've got to vote. We need a new governor. I'm glad he sits here tonight. We need a new attorney general. I saw him earlier tonight. We need a new lieutenant governor. We will make change in Texas. Please vote. Vote Tammy Kemp, March 1st, and from Valentine's Day through February 25th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. West?
I know you don't have that.
Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Thank you. Thank you. Here are some hard truths. Not all judges are created equal. Not all judges do a good job. Not all judges understand our criminal justice system. And there are judges that punish for the sake of punishment. The point of the legislation that you were discussing, sir, was to limit the way in which criminal justice reform can happen in our country. Because the reality of the situation is that it's black and brown people that populate our criminal justice system, and therefore there should be African American or black and brown judges that sit before those citizens that are accused. That's the hard truth. The reality of the situation is the color of my skin or anybody else's skin has absolutely no bearing on whether they can do a good job. It has no bearing on whether they can do a good job. The reality is there are judges that just don't do a good job. And that is where you as voters come in. It doesn't have anything to do with legislating anything, capping people, years of experience, whatever the discussion was. It has to do with you, the voter. This is the time, this is the opportunity for you to educate yourself on what is required for somebody to sit on these benches in Dallas County. What is it that you want to see if you or your loved one has to come into contact with the criminal justice system? Who do you want sitting on that bench? Do you want a person that has 10 plus years of experience in Dallas County representing people both as in state, federal, and federal appellate court, somebody that has experience as a prosecutor, that has occurred over the last 10 years, that has represented people over the last 10 years here in Dallas County? Do you want somebody that understands the issues that we are facing as a community related to bail and bond reform? Do you want somebody that understands the issues that we face with substance abuse and mental health issues? If you want that, educate yourself on Bree West. That's what we need to have happen here in Dallas County. That not what the legislature is trying to do. So please go visit my website, learn about what I'm doing, learn about my experience, and vote on February 14th. Vote for Bree West for judge. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bree West, challenger for 204th Judicial District, and the incumbent Judge Tammy Kemp. Thank you so much for your attendance tonight. Okay?